Morning in New York sharpened into movement, into noise, into tension, humming beneath layers of routine. But for the three people caught in the shadows of the Brandt Empire, the day had already begun with fear, quiet, creeping, tightening around them like an invisible hand. This is where Episode 2 presses deeper. Everyone has something to hide, everyone has something to lose, and in this story, someone won't make it out alive. Children of power. When a dynasty falls, everyone gets crushed. Daniel stands motionless, staring at the message from Victoria. Do not leave the apartment. His chest tightens, breath trapped somewhere between anger and fear. How does she know he was about to leave? How does she always know? His eyes drift instinctively toward the window, toward the rooftops across the street, toward windows facing his. Is someone watching him right now? He pulls the curtains shut, but as he backs away from the window, something else catches his attention. The envelope, not the one from his mother's office, the one Victoria took. Another envelope, on the floor, under his door. Daniel stares at it. It wasn't there a moment ago. He would have heard someone, wouldn't he? His hands shake as he crouches and picks it up. It's unmarked, plain, thin, the kind of envelope used for things no one wants traced. Inside there's a single sheet. No message, no explanation, just a photograph. A different angle of the same underground corridor. The same room Evelyn was entering. But this time, Daniel gasps. This time in the corner of the frame, partially obscured but unmistakable, Victoria, standing behind his mother, watching her, not protecting, not assisting, watching. Daniel's blood runs cold. He drops the photo. He steps back, and for the first time in his life, he whispers words he never imagined.
What have you gotten us into?
Olivia leaves the manager's office with her heart pounding against her ribs. Her hands are still clammy from the conversation with the man who called himself Mr. Lorne, if that was even his real name. She returns to the housekeeping station, grabs her cart, and forces herself to breathe normally. Act normal, she mutters. Just act normal. But the more she tries, the more her mind circles around one unsettling truth. Mr. Lorne didn't ask about the room. He asked about the USB. How did he know it was there? Who placed it? And why did his voice shift when she denied touching it like he already knew she was lying? She pushes her cart down the hallway and turns the corner. And freezes. Two men in suits stand outside room 1904, both tall, serious, scanning the hallway with cold precision. One of them turns, looks directly at her, not with suspicion, with recognition. She forces herself to keep walking. Don't look, don't react, don't run. But as she passes them, she hears a voice, low, deep, barely audible. Management wants this room off the record. The other responds, hurry, she'll be back on shift soon. Olivia feels the blood drain from her face. They're there, because of her. They're cleaning something up, erasing something, and she doesn't want to know what. She rushes away, turns the corner, hides behind her cart, and struggles to keep her breathing quiet. She needs to warn someone, but who? Who would believe her? Her hands tremble as she pulls out her phone. One missed call from an unknown number. Left at 7:48 a.m. She hesitates, listens to the voicemail, static. Then a faint, shaky whisper. Don't trust them. They know. The message cuts abruptly. Olivia covers her mouth. tears burning behind her eyes. Someone is scared. Someone is trying to warn her. And she is already in deeper than she realizes. Michael Grant sits silently at his desk, staring at the white card left on top of his files. "You're too close." He turns it over. Blank. He holds it up to the light. Nothing. Runs his finger along the edge. Clean cut. Professional. A threat, but not sloppy. Not emotional. Meaning, someone with resources, someone careful, someone confident, someone like Evelyn Brandt. Michael opens his folder and finds the missing page, the one removed earlier. The page lists names, employees, contractors, consultants, all connected to Project Sparrow. 2 names are crossed out. Red ink. Beside them, deceased Michael flips the page. At the bottom, a name he has never seen before. Not crossed out, not marked, but circled, twice. Aidan Lorne. Michael feels the air leave his lungs. Lorne. The same last name as the man Olivia met this morning. He grabs his laptop, searches the name. Nothing. No photos, no job history, no online traces. A ghost. Then his office light flickers. A subtle warning. Michael stands, grabs his coat, and rushes toward the stairwell instead of the main hallway. If someone was inside his office once, they can get in again. And he needs to stay one step ahead. Daniel paces his living room, gripping his phone, replaying the photograph over and over. Victoria, his mother, a hidden facility. None of this makes sense. Then, a sound. Soft, almost polite. A knock at his door. Daniel freezes. No one knocks on his door at 11 a.m. No one visits him unannounced. Not here, not ever. He steps toward the door slowly, every instinct screaming. He peers through the peephole. A person stands there, face lowered, hands tucked in their coat pockets. He can't see their face. Then the person speaks, muffled by the door. "Daniel, we need to talk. It's about your mother." Daniel's throat dries. He steps back.
Who are you?
He demands. The voice leans closer, not threatening but urgent. "Someone who can help you, if you let me in." Daniel looks toward the photo on the floor, then toward the door. A choice. Right now, a wrong one could cost him everything. The knock on Daniel's door didn't repeat. It just stayed there, suspended in the air, heavy and waiting, like the moment before a storm breaks. He stared at the handle, his pulse pounding at the base of his throat. The stranger behind the door hadn't raised their voice, hadn't threatened him. But something in the tone, something in the stillness, felt dangerous, not violent, not chaotic, dangerous like someone who knew too much. There's another sound, softer this time. A quiet exhale from the other side of the door. "Daniel," the voice says again, low and controlled. "If you don't open this door, you'll lose your last chance to understand what's happening to your mother." Daniel closes his eyes. He wants answers. He needs answers. The photo on the floor feels like it's burning a hole in the room. But everything inside him says, don't trust anyone. He steps toward the door anyway.
Tell me your name first.
He says, trying to keep his voice steady. Silence. Then, my name isn't important yet. Not a good sign. Daniel's hand drops from the lock.
No, tell me who you are or I'm calling security.
A gentle laugh. Not mocking, not amused, just knowing. Daniel, do you really think security will protect you from the people who took your mother? That sinks in like ice. The person continues. If you open this door, I'll explain what she was doing yesterday, why she disappeared, and why Victoria is involved. Daniel's breath catches. They know Victoria's name. They know she was at the facility. They know too much. He whispers,
How do you know about Victoria?
A pause. Then the voice lowers barely above a whisper. Because I was there. Daniel feels his legs weaken. He reaches for the door but doesn't unlock it. Instead, he steps back.
Leave your phone number or go.
A long silence follows. Then something slides under the door, a card. Footsteps retreat down the hallway. Daniel waits longer, not trusting silence. Then he bends down and picks up the card. White, blank, except for a single line written in dark blue ink. When you're ready to know the truth, come alone. And below it, an address. Daniel stares at it, pulse shaking. Half of him wants to burn the card. The other half wants to run to the address right now. Instead, he sinks into a chair, the weight of choice pressing down on him like concrete. Olivia moves through the staff corridor, clutching her phone so tightly her knuckles turn white. The voicemail still echoes in her ears. Don't trust them. They know. She glances around the hallway. Cameras in the corners. Open doors. Shadows that suddenly feel too still. She reaches her locker and opens it quickly. Inside sits her lunch, a sweater, her bag. And something else, a small envelope, cream-coloured, thin. Her heart stops. Someone has been in her locker. She lifts it cautiously with 2 fingers, as though it might explode. Inside is a single sheet of paper, folded once. She unfolds it. A printed screenshot of a security camera feed. Her. Inside room 1904. Facing the desk. Taken from the exact moment she noticed the USB. Below the image, someone has typed, "We saw you." Olivia's blood turns to ice. She scans the room. Nothing. No one. Then, her locker door slams shut. She jumps, slapping a hand over her mouth to keep from screaming. The hallway is empty. This place, the hotel she's worked at for years, no longer feels safe. Nothing feels safe. She reaches for her phone. Her hand trembles so badly it almost falls. She needs to tell someone, anyone. Her thumb hovers over a contact. A single name she thought she'd never call again. She presses dial. Michael Grant sits in a small diner near the office, his back to the wall, eyes scanning everyone who walks through the door. He hasn't touched his food. He hasn't touched his coffee. He's replaying everything. The missing document. The threat card. The name circled twice. Aidan Lorne. He flips through his notebook and draws a rough map of the Brandt Corporation's network. Evelyn at the center. Branches of influence radiating outward. Business, politics, law enforcement, private security. But he adds a new circle now. Unknown divisions are connected to Sparrow. And beneath it he writes, Lorne. He leans back, exhaling slowly. If the Brandts had a shadow operation, if Evelyn wasn't the only one controlling it, then someone else is pulling strings behind the curtain. Someone who eliminates anyone who gets too close. He closes his notebook. He needs information, not speculation. He pulls out his phone, opens an encrypted messaging app, and types one sentence to a trusted but dangerous contact. I need everything you can find on Aidan Lorne. Quietly. He doesn't expect a reply immediately, but one comes within seconds. Just 2 words. You're late. Michael's stomach sinks. He starts typing.
What does that?
Before he can finish, another message appears. He's already moving. Daniel stands at his bathroom sink, splashing cold water on his face. His reflection looks older, tired, scared. He has to decide. Stay home and hope Victoria's warning keeps him alive, or go to the address on the card and find out what really happened to Evelyn. His phone buzzes. A text from an unknown number. He expects a threat, a warning, but instead it's a video. He hesitates, plays it. Grainy footage fills the screen. A hallway, concrete walls, dim lighting. The same place from the earlier photos. The camera tilts, moves, then shows her, Evelyn, sitting at a metal table, perfectly calm, hands folded, like she's not being held, like she's waiting. Then the video ends. Daniel whispers,
Mom,
A second text arrives. You're running out of time. A chill spreads down Daniel's spine. He grabs his coat. This time, he doesn't hesitate. He's going, wherever this leads. Daniel left his apartment with a tension that felt almost physical. A tightness across the chest, a pressure behind the eyes, a heaviness in his legs like the weight of the secret he was now carrying had changed his entire center of gravity. The city outside was loud in the way New York always is, but today the noise seemed distant, muffled under the constant hum of fear pulsing in his ears. He moved quickly through the lobby, avoiding eye contact with the doorman, who offered a polite nod. Daniel didn't return. He wasn't sure if he was being watched, followed, tracked, or simply paranoid. But paranoia was starting to feel like the only rational response to the last 24 hours. The address written on the mysterious card lay folded in his pocket. He hadn't opened it again since reading it the first time. Just the memory of the ink was enough to keep his pulse unsteady. A warehouse district, near the river. Not a part of the city he ever had reason to visit, which made it the perfect place for the kind of meeting he suspected this would be. He walked faster. Across town, Olivia Morales stepped outside the service entrance of the Radcliffe Hotel with a backpack slung over her shoulder and her breath fogging in the cold afternoon air. She felt exposed, as if every window could be a pair of eyes tracking her movements, every passing taxi a possible threat. She checked her phone again. No new messages, no new calls. The voicemail she had listened to earlier kept replaying itself inside her mind in an endless loop. Don't trust them. They know. Whoever sent that wasn't just scared. They sounded broken, like someone who had already lost too much. Olivia pulled her coat tighter and hurried down the street. Every step taking her farther from the job she suddenly wasn't sure she'd ever return to. Meanwhile, Michael Grant walked briskly through the lower Manhattan streets with his collar turned up against the wind. His mind kept circling the same points. The missing document, the warning card, the name Aidan Lorne circled twice. His contact had messaged him again. A single sentence he hadn't dared respond to. He's already moving. Michael had seen enough in his years as a journalist to know that when someone this deeply buried in the shadows started moving, people disappeared. And not metaphorically. He kept one hand in his coat pocket, gripping the small portable recorder he never left the office without. He didn't know who he was going to meet today, and for the first time in years he felt a familiar sensation he'd almost forgotten. Genuine fear. Back in the warehouse district, the sky had darkened, even though it was only late afternoon, clouds clustering thick and heavy above the water. Daniel turned down a narrow street, lined with old brick buildings, most of them boarded up, some tagged with graffiti, all of them forgotten by the rest of the city. A single streetlight flickered weakly near the sidewalk, casting a pale cone of light that made the silence feel even deeper. He checked the number written on the card, matched it to the rusted metal door in front of him, and hesitated. He could still walk away. He could still pretend none of this existed. He could still pretend Evelyn was just out of town, unreachable, busy, anything but the truth staring him in the face. But he didn't turn around. Daniel placed his hand on the cold metal door and pushed. The hinges groaned softly as the door opened into a large, dimly lit warehouse. Dust floated in slow spirals through beams of light leaking from the ceiling. The air smelled like old metal and damp concrete, and somewhere in the vast emptiness, a faint echo of footsteps reached him. He wasn't alone. Daniel took a careful step forward, then another. He felt exposed in the wide-open space, yet something drew him deeper inside. An instinct he didn't fully understand. He reached the center of the warehouse when a shadow detached itself from the far wall and stepped quietly into view. A man, tall, calm, face partially obscured by the dim light. No threat in his posture, but no comfort either. "Daniel," the man said, his voice steady, controlled, and immediately familiar. "You came." Daniel's stomach dropped. He knew this voice.
You were at my door.
Daniel said. The man nodded once. "And you wanted me here. Why?" Instead of answering immediately, the man walked slowly toward a metal table at the far end of the warehouse. On top of it, illuminated by a single hanging bulb, lay a stack of documents and a small recording device. "I brought you here," the man said, "because your mother trusted very few people in this world, but she trusted me, and she left instructions in case something happened to her." Daniel felt the floor shift beneath him, not physically, but in the sense that reality itself was tilting.
What do you mean, in case something happened to her?
He demanded.
What happened to her? Where is she?
The man looked at him with a calmness that made Daniel's skin crawl. "She made an enemy," he said quietly. "One more dangerous than you realize." Daniel stepped closer, fists clenching.
Then tell me who.
The man exhaled almost regretfully. But before he could answer, the warehouse filled with a sudden, deep metallic clang. A sound that echoed like thunder smashing through the dark. The front door had slammed shut, locked from the outside. Daniel whipped around. The man stiffened, his posture shifting instantly into alertness. Someone else was here. Another clang, louder this time. The sharp snap of chains being pulled. Footsteps, slovy, controlled. Daniel's heart raced as a voice boomed from somewhere in the shadows. "Daniel Brandt, you should never have come." The man beside him tensed. "This wasn't supposed to happen," he whispered. Daniel swallowed hard.
Who is that? Who's out there?
The answer came like a knife slicing through air. "The same person who took your mother." Daniel's breath hitched. Then the lights in the warehouse went out. Total darkness. Silence. Then footsteps. Getting closer. And what happens when the lights go out? Who broke into the warehouse? Daniel will finally uncover who kidnapped Evelyn Brandt. But what he's about to hear might destroy everything he thinks he knows about his own family. Don't miss episode 3 of Children of Power. Subscribe to the channel, hit the like button, because the next part is absolutely unmissable.